All right, the big question, how are some members making over $30,000 a month at the really, really top end, the outliers, and some members only making $200 a month? Well, in this video, I'm going to explain it, and I'm going to use 3 factors that you need to understand. And once you understand this little profit formula that we've built, you're going to understand how this all fits together. Before we get into it, you're probably wondering who I am. My name is JP. I made over $300,000 off the bookies through my 20s and was able to set up my life financially. As a result of that, we've now been able to build a community of over 1,500 current members, which is rapidly expanding every single day. At the time of filming, currently 1,500 in the community. Let's get into it. Now, the profit formula that we've built consists of 3 factors. Those 3 factors are time, average unit size, and profit efficiency. Going to go through each of them one by one and explain what affects what. Then you're going to have an understanding about how some members are making $30,000 a month or more and some members are only making $200,000. I'm not about sort of saying, okay, these members are making this. I want you to understand why. Because if you understand why, you can then understand how you can tailor this and adapt this to your own approach. Not everyone's the same. A one-size-fits-all approach never works. So let's go through the factors. The first factor is time. This factor is the least able to be manipulated. You can't manipulate time. You can't magically click your fingers and a year goes by. Time is time. In match betting, the longer you follow something with a mathematical edge is essentially an advantage that is given to you and it's set in stone. Everyone has the same mathematical edge with match betting. Everyone has access to the promotions unless you get banned. Essentially, that's a mathematical edge, right? We're not creating an edge. We're not developing any systems. You're just implementing that edge and using that edge to your advantage. That is a mathematical edge. The longer you follow that edge with consistent staking and discipline, you're going to make more money. That's an example of how time is going to affect your match betting. For example, someone following the horse system and the sports system for 12 months versus someone following it for a month, the person following for 12 months is going to make way more money. Pretty simple. The longer time goes, the more money you make with match betting. So the one thing that will affect time is the longer that you keep your accounts open for, obviously the more you'll make, but the longer your accounts stay open for, the more likely they are to be banned, especially if you're making money off the bookies. And obviously, this is something where if you have really good sustainability, you've set up your accounts properly, you can extend the life of your account, which means that you actually get more out of your match betting. The longer time goes on with access to your accounts, the more money you make. So the better you are at sustainability, obviously the more money you're going to make. Pretty straightforward. Let's move on to the next one. So the second factor is average unit size. Now this factor here is the biggest profit needle mover. What does that mean? Basically, it means that this factor here can impact your profit the most. Basically, you can double it, triple it, quadruple it, or 10x or 20x it. Not going to tell you how to do that, or nor do I encourage it here right now. But at least you need to understand it. Because you're wondering why some people are making $30,000 a month and some people are making $200,000. They impact this factor the most. Hear me out. Basically, look at the promotions on a Saturday. The horse promotions that are offered by the majority of bookies are capped at $50. Most people look at that and they think, well, hang on, I can't put more than $50 on a horse because Sportsbet's only offering $50 bonus back for that race. You're spot on. If you were to put $200 on that horse, $150 of that is not covered by promotional insurance, i.e. you wouldn't get a bonus back of more than $50 if you put a $200 bet on. Therefore, $150 of your bet goes down the drain. You have $150 of that without a mathematical edge. Spot on. But there are about 20 to 30 bookies offering these promotions every single Saturday on multiple races. So, if you used your imagination, you can actually use multiple bookies to get bets on the same horse if you really wanted to. Now, I don't recommend doing this because ultimately you're going to get your accounts banned or lose money if you don't know what you're doing. However, what some people are able to do is to use this principle to get more promotional bets on across more bookies, therefore increasing their average unit size on whatever systems they are following, horse system, sports system, etc., etc. If you follow the pathway that we've set here and you follow the setup account process, you follow the progression of unit size process across our horse and our sports system, you'll be able to make $2,000 to $3,000 on average per month once you hit month sort of 8 to 12. Hear me out there. That's on one set of accounts. Once people know how to do that, they then use their imagination and they think, well, hang on, what if I was able to multiply or duplicate this process across more accounts? Ultimately, they're going to make double or triple the profit. That's how they think, and that's what people do. However, big disclaimer here, people get stuck. if they try to do this on their own. And they come back to us, and we've received hundreds of DMs from non-members outside of our community who've tried to do this on their own. Hey, I've got $10,000 stuck in this bookie because I'm using my mate's account and I don't know what to do now. It's like, yes, that is what happens when you don't know what you're doing. So massive disclaimer here. Although your imagination is probably wondering now, shit, I can make a lot of money off this. You can, but if you don't know what you're doing, I promise you, you'll make errors and fuck up. Fuck ups cost you money. Fuck ups cost you time. Fuck ups cost you energy. Trust me, I've made plenty of them, and I wouldn't recommend trying to do this until you've mastered your own set of accounts, you've nailed sustainability, you've nailed Betfair, you understand exactly what to do. There is no upside in doing this blindly. Of course, people are going to do this after watching this video. It is your problem if you do it, and I guarantee you'll come back to this and you'll say, fuck, I should have listened if you try to do it on your own. But obviously, that's how you move the profit needle the most. You can 5x or 10x this, and that's what some members are doing in the community. However, if you use the wrong bookie, you do the wrong thing, they will hold your money, and you can lose thousands overnight, and they will hold it, and they have every right to, because it's against their terms and conditions to do this. Moving on now, just focusing on one set of accounts, the average unit size. Let's just say that a member was following our horse system on a $10 unit size, and that was his average unit size for the entire year over a 12-month period. Times the same, average unit size is going to be 10 versus average unit size is going to be 40. Two different members, 12-month period. Guess what? The person with a $40 unit size is going to make 4x the person over here who's on a $10 unit size. You get it? Hopefully you do. But if someone was to increase their unit size too fast, you get accounts banned. Getting accounts banned reduces the amount of profit you make because time following match betting decreases back to factor one. Hopefully we're making sense now. If you go too hard, you get your accounts banned too quickly. If you go too small, you don't make enough profit to justify the time that you're investing. But if you follow the process, you'll get to month 6, 7, 8, and you'll start making $2,000 to $3,000 a month, and then pathways will open up where you can scale that if you want to. So, things that will affect the average unit size factor. Having the ability to access more accounts, number one. More accounts, more promotions, more ability to increase your unit size. Average unit size increases, more profit. This is all within a bankroll and a disciplined approach. Bankroll management really important here. This is assuming all of these things. Higher unit size, higher time, more profit. More accounts, higher unit size, more profit. Getting your accounts banned, less profit because you have less accounts. And the last one that I mentioned in that spiel there was if you do increase your unit size too much, you lose your accounts faster, which equals less average unit size in the long term because you have less accounts to follow. Hopefully I'm making sense. So the final factor is profit efficiency, and it is easily the least understood factor, and it's entirely based on skill, knowledge, and experience. Why is it the least understood factor? Well, hear me out here. Basically, most people who think they're going to make a lot of money with match betting assume that you can just go brute force on factor 2, get as many accounts as possible, get your unit size as high as possible, and that's how people make money at the top. Wrong. Completely wrong. And a lot of people assume that people making $30,000 a month are actually doing 10x the hours that someone doing $2K a month is doing. Wrong. Believe it or not, the people making $3,000 a month with their own set of accounts are probably doing the same amount of time compared to the people making $30,000 or more a month. A lot of people won't believe that, but I promise you it is true. Because if you can increase your efficiency with your match betting, your whole game changes. And I'm going to talk really heavily here, initially about bonus turnover percentage and non-promo turnover, but I'm going to talk about some of the stuff that's being taught by Lenny in the mentorship program. This factor here is the least understood because not a lot of people actually know a lot of this stuff exists. For example, someone who is turning over their bonuses at, let's just take a basic example. You all know how to turn a bonus over. You would have watched the video here that tells you how to turn a bonus into 65% of its value risk-free. On sport, two-way Dutching, basic, 65%, $100 bonus, you make $65. If you haven't understood that, please do not continue this video. Go watch this one first, complete our free course. But if you understand that, keep listening. If you can turn a bonus over at 65% And then let's just say you're a Platinum Squad member. You now turn over your bonuses at an average of 80% because you learnt Module 3 and 4, taught you how to do it on horses. You can turn a bonus over in 30 seconds. You can average 80% over the long term. Now, all of a sudden, a $100 bonus for you on average is going to net you $80 as opposed to $65. $1,000 worth of bonus is now going to net you $800 as opposed to $650. 10,000, $8,000 instead of 6.5. 100,000, that's actually not a lot of bonus over a course of a 12 or 24 month period. It's going to net you 80K versus 65. You already got a 15K gap. You get the picture. The higher this efficiency is on the higher turnover, the more this profit is going to get larger and larger. You can apply this as well with non-promo turnover. Now, for context, people in the mentorship program are taught how to turn over their bonuses at closer towards 100%. 80 to 100%. Really crucial. Again, $100,000 worth of turnover, 80,000 to 100,000, 20K difference. $200,000 turnover, 20% increase, $40,000 difference. Hopefully now we're starting to see how critical the efficiency factor is to your overall profit. We haven't even started talking about non-promo turnover. Now, we're going to talk about the mentorship program here because this is the most relevant to this one. Now, arguably, the most appreciated improvement that comes out of the feedback from the mentorship members working with Lenny is the fact that he's managed to get their non-promo turnover from -8%, -9%, -10% to zero or profit. And they appreciate this so much because, one, they no longer leak $1,500, $2,000 a month on their non-promo turnover, obviously turning over at $100, $150 unit sizes. They're now making profit or breaking even on their non-promo turnover. And let's use this again. $100,000 turnover, leaking at 10% non-promo is $10K a year. Change that to plus 1%, you've gained $11K. Change that to $200K, you've gained $22K. Change that to $300K, you've gained $33,000. This is what happens when efficiency is combined with volume. You actually preserve money, which makes you more net profit at the end of the day. They're doing things that are taught in a different way compared to just the Platinum Squad methods. And obviously, in the process of doing this, they're not only making less losses or taking less losses, they're actually saving a shit ton of time and energy, because the way that Lenny will teach you is it actually preserves time and energy and preserves losses, which means more net profit. So not only are you saving money, you're gaining it, you're actually saving time and energy as well. Again, most people think people making more are actually spending more time and energy. Wrong. They're actually spending less time and energy and making more money. Triple whammy, if you want to call it that. This is obviously, again, going back to the higher the volume, the more efficiency is affected. Hopefully that's starting to make sense. The final thing that I will address in this factor as well is essentially how much value you're getting out of your accounts. What accounts are you taking advantage of? How do you take advantage of certain bookies? Every bookie is different. Are you using the promotions in the right way? That's an example of efficiency. You might be using the wrong bookie. You might be using a bookie that's a high risk of getting an account banned or getting into trouble. That's an example of inefficiency. You get 10K stuck in a stat deck. Big loss. Minus 10K. Wasted time and energy. Wasted stress level. If you know exactly what to do, that's an example of efficiency. Some of the things to consider there. So in essence, you've got the three factors that we've just discussed. Number one, pretty straightforward. The longer you follow this stuff with a mathematical edge, the more you make. You can't control it though. So if you stick around for 2 years, that's all you can do. Stick around for 2 years, can't really change that. But if you impact factor 2 and 3 over a 2-year period, then you're going to impact that. But if you only stay for 1 month, you're not going to make as much as someone who follows for 2 years. Pretty straightforward. That's time. Now, most people would look at this and before they watch this video, they would have just thought you just impact brute force, average unit size, factor 2, just hammer that, make more money. You can do that, but you're leaking shit everywhere on factor 3. And if you can learn factor 3, combining that with factor 2, all of a sudden you have a crazy, crazy partnership between factor 2, factor 3, you add in time, and that's how people are making $30,000 a month. In my next video, I'm going to break down exactly how you can get more bonus bets without actually losing money. Hopefully you picked up something from this video. See you next time.